Welsh Water is once again in the firing line, this time after admitting it's been illegally spilling untreated sewage at dozens of treatment plants for years. River groups have responded by calling for a full review of how the water industry in Wales is regulated. One of Welsh Water's worst performing sites is on the estuary of the River Tavy at Cardigan. Now, this all comes after the company was downgraded earlier in the year over pollution incidents. Here's our environment correspondent, Stefan Messenger.
Anger over sewage reaching rivers and the sea has been bubbling for years. Now the scale of the problem here in Wales has become even clearer. Treatment works like this one in Cardigan have permits allowing them to discharge untreated sewage if there's a risk the plants could become overwhelmed, like during heavy rain. But here and elsewhere, Welsh Water have admitted spilling before that threshold has been met. Today's report by mathematician and prominent river campaigner Professor Peter Hammond looked at data from 11 sewage treatment works across Wales over the last 5 years. Of those, Cardigan was by far the worst for illegal spills. They happened on 1,146 days during that period. Abererch on the Llŷn Peninsula saw spills on 375 days, and Llannon in Carmarthenshire on 251 days.
I was particularly shocked by Cardigan. In fact, I was so shocked by the data, because this is the worst data I've ever seen in thousands of sewage works I've looked at. I actually emailed them and said, "Are you sure you'll give me the right data? Because it just doesn't look right." And they came back and said, yes, that is the correct data.
At some plants, it was possible to calculate the volume of untreated sewage which had been spilled illegally, like here in Caernarfon, where it amounted to 94 million litres over 5 years.
I think it shows a really catastrophic failure of the systems throughout Wales. You have the direct effects from the sewage, which is the nitrates, the blooms. It can lead to oxygen deprivation in certain aspects that then harm the wildlife.
Afonydd Cymru, which represents Wales's rivers trusts, says a full review is needed of how water firms are regulated in Wales. They point out that the problems at Cardigan in particular have been known about for years, yet there have been no fines or prosecutions. Concerns shared too by the chair of the Senate's Environment Committee.
These kinds of disclosures now suggest that it's even worse than we thought. The priority here is to make sure that Dwr Cymru is accountable for its actions, and as a committee we will be sure to make that happen.
Natural Resources Wales told us it had been calling on the company to make improvements.
As an organisation, we have downgraded the performance of Welsh Water. They know that they must now put the investment in and they must improve the performance of their assets.
Welsh Water insists it's been open and transparent about any issues with its treatment works. Between 45 and 50, we're told, currently have problems with illegal spills, out of over 800 in total. The company says it's investing around £1 million a day in making improvements.
More of our rivers in Wales meet good ecological status than in England. We've got far more beaches meeting excellent water quality, but we're not stopping at that. We do need to do more, but we have to keep the bills affordable. There's only one place that this investment comes from, and that's customer bills.
At Cardigan, a brand new treatment plant is promised, with work to start in 2025.
Well, with me now is Gail Davies Walsh, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Afonydd Cymru, the Rivers Trust of Wales. She's also an advisor on the Welsh Government's Water Task Quality. Thanks so much for coming in. I mean, were you shocked by these revelations and by how long it's been going on?
Yeah, well, clearly we were. Professor Hammond brought his report to us quite early. His report actually only covered a few sites, and we worked with Peter to extend that analysis across a large number of sites in Wales. We wanted to look at different locations. We wanted to look at different types of wastewater treatment works and different rivers. And his analysis is clearly shocking. You know, it shows not only an impact at Cardigan, but an impact across a number of wastewater treatment works in Wales.
So what kinds of impact on wildlife, for example, are we talking about here?
OK, so it's really actually quite difficult to associate directly impact from discharges to the environment. One of those reasons is actually because we're also challenging quite poor monitoring of our rivers. So fundamentally, there's just not enough data out there for us to know that. You know, what is important here is that the Tavy is a designated river. It's an extremely important river in Wales. It's designated for a number of species: lamprey, Atlantic salmon, otter. None of those species are in favourable condition status.
OK. Welsh Water are holding their hands up. They're admitting this. They know it's illegal. They say they're looking into it. They're trying to address it, but they say they also want to keep customers' bills down, and to sort this out would cost money. Do you understand their argument there?
Yeah, you know, we have to be realistic here. You know, we need a huge investment in infrastructure, and currently the way that is done across England and Wales is linked to a water bill. You know, whether that needs to be re-looked at is a question that we are asking Welsh Government, but water bills will have to go up to pay for some of this. But actually this is around ensuring that water companies are regulated and that they are delivering to environmental performance that we need them to do.
We know this is illegal. Natural Resources Wales haven't prosecuted Welsh Water. Do you agree with that, or do you think they should have taken legal action? Is that what you want to see?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got an issue here around quite weak regulation in Wales. The impact at Cardigan has been going on for over 10 years. That's just not acceptable to have raw sewage entering a river for that amount of time. You know, media attention, reports to date have focused on overflows operating during dry weather. This report is on something different. It's on using sewer overflows instead of treatment at wastewater treatment works, and that is not acceptable behaviour.
Gail Davies Walsh of Afonydd